Breaking news, the FBI sweeping in, making more than 30 arrests tonight, including an NBA star and an NBA coach who was coaching a big game just last night. Authorities say all part of a massive NBA and mafia gambling scandal. Investigators say they rigged poker games using high-tech devices, including an X-ray table that could read cards face down.
The FBI didn't just raid LeBron James's homes, they raided his legend. And what they found could send him to prison. On October 23rd, federal agents executed simultaneous warrants in Los Angeles and Akron, seizing encrypted devices, handwritten ledgers, and private communications connected to Operation Nothing But Bet, a multi-state probe that has already taken down major NBA names. According to federal filings, the warrants cited coordination of privileged information, a phrase prosecutors usually reserve for organized schemes, not misunderstandings. It wasn't a fishing expedition. It was a strike planned with precision after months of surveillance and cross-referenced money trails leading directly into LeBron's financial orbit.
Sources told the Post that Jones sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9, 2023, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury that night.
Inside those warrants, agents detailed their first domino, Damon Jones. Once known as LeBron's confidant, Jones is now the government's key link between locker room secrets and high-stakes betting circles. Court documents confirm that Jones sold insider injury details on both LeBron and Anthony Davis, including a $2,500 tip that backfired during a January 2024 Lakers game against Oklahoma City. The same files describe how Jones told a co-conspirator to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the Lakers' February 9, 2023 matchup, the very night LeBron sat out with a sore ankle. That night, the Bucks won easily, and the betting ring cashed in. But buried deep in the FBI's affidavit, investigators wrote that these communications would be cross-referenced against external ledgers associated with Sean Combs, the same Sean Diddy Combs now serving over 4 years for his role in a criminal enterprise involving racketeering and coercion. That single reference set off alarms throughout the sports and entertainment industries. The idea that LeBron's financial data might intersect with the network of a disgraced mogul turned what looked like a betting scandal into a potential corruption case. Agents didn't just want texts or bank statements. They wanted patterns. Transactions that moved between athletic management accounts and shell entities previously tied to Combs' event operations.
The first indictment involves 6 defendants. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams.
Within hours of the raids, 2 of LeBron's corporate sponsors reportedly suspended their endorsement activity, citing pending legal uncertainty. Yet, through all of this, LeBron's attorneys have stayed silent. No statements, no denials. Only a brief line through a spokesperson confirming cooperation. Meanwhile, the story's political undercurrent exploded when ESPN analyst Stephen A. Smith took to live television. "He's coming," Smith warned, "and he's not going to spare anyone." He was talking about former President Donald Trump. Smith claimed the raids were not coincidence but retaliation, an act meant to humiliate the NBA at the start of the season. The backlash was immediate. FBI Director Kash Patel fired back on Fox News, calling Smith's comment the absurd thing I've ever heard. Yet Smith doubled down, telling viewers he wasn't backing off. "I said what I said. I meant what I meant," he repeated days later on his podcast. He wasn't alleging the case was fake, only that the timing during opening week reeked of political theater. But the argument did little to change what was unfolding inside federal offices in New York and Los Angeles. While cable debates burned over motives, agents continued sifting through seized electronics. And what insiders claim they found has shaken even veteran investigators. According to 2 individuals briefed on the process, LeBron's encrypted messages included contacts tied to Combs' former event planners, some of whom were named in the mogul's own criminal proceedings. The messages allegedly mentioned gatherings that prosecutors later described in court as disgusting, shameful, and sick. We don't know what those exchanges contained or whether LeBron was aware of what those events really were. But the fact that his name appears in communications under review by the same cyber forensics team that built the Combs case is enough to ignite headlines around the world.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
The overlap is startling. Combs' legal downfall began with raids on his New York and Los Angeles homes in March 2024, locations not far from the same neighborhoods federal agents searched this month. In both cases, the warrants targeted encrypted data, offshore transfers, and confidential contact lists. Investigators now believe that parts of the entertainment network used by Combs to launder appearance fees may have also been used to move gambling proceeds connected to Damon Jones's betting ring. None of this proves LeBron's direct involvement, but the optics are devastating. His devices reportedly contained years of correspondence covering the same period when Jones was still in his inner circle.
We played it yesterday, but Stephen A. Smith, like, oh, here, Chauncey Billups is in trouble, and Terry Rozier is in trouble, and he's like, Trump's coming, y'all, Trump's coming. And, and I'm like, I hope he is. Because our sports world is corrupt, and it's promoting things that need to be cleaned up.
Behind the scenes, tension is growing inside the league office. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has privately told staff the integrity of the game is under its toughest test in decades. Sources close to the Lakers describe quiet panic, with security teams reviewing past access logs and travel itineraries. What they're trying to establish is who from LeBron's circle had access to team medical data or could have overheard confidential injury updates. Jones wasn't officially on staff, yet his access was unrestricted. He was in locker rooms, on planes, even at private workouts. And now the federal trail shows him bragging at Vegas casinos about being LeBron's best friend. That's how, investigators allege, he gained trust from high-stakes gamblers who later joined mafia-backed poker games. As these revelations hit the press, something else caught attention. A resurfaced video from 2021 showing LeBron laughing with Combs on an Instagram Live saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." It was once harmless, just celebrity banter. But after Combs' conviction and the exposure of his so-called freak-off events, that clip has taken on a darker tone. Social media analysts have dissected it frame by frame, treating it like evidence of proximity to scandal. When asked months ago about attending Combs' parties, LeBron said he preferred not to comment until I know how much information becomes public. That single line, meant to deflect gossip, now reads differently in the shadow of the raids.
The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Industry insiders say the FBI's Los Angeles office has assembled a dedicated task group to track crossover communications between athletes and entertainment figures tied to Combs' defunct management company. The question they're asking is not whether LeBron attended any gatherings, but whether his financial network ever intersected with accounts now identified as conduits for illegal transfers. Every seized tablet, every backup phone is being parsed by digital forensic experts who've already found metadata linking some of those devices to locations in Beverly Hills and Miami during the same weekends as the events under scrutiny. In public, LeBron appears calm, courtside, smiling, even posing with fellow celebrities. But insiders claim that calm is a mask. Since the raids, his travel has been reduced, his communications filtered through lawyers, and several scheduled media appearances quietly canceled. Former teammates say he's furious yet cautious, aware that anything he says could be twisted or subpoenaed. At the same time, people close to the investigation suggest prosecutors are split on how to handle him. Some see him as an unwilling participant caught in his friend's spiral. Others suspect he knew more than he admits.
What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam.
And just as the public begins to settle on one theory, new whispers emerge. Allegedly, the same encrypted devices seized from his Ohio residence contained archived financial ledgers that show irregular transfers routed through entertainment foundations between 2022 and 2024. Those transactions are now being analyzed alongside records from Combs' convicted network. Whether coincidence or connection, they raise the question no one wants to ask: how deep does this go? Because if those transfers show even indirect benefit from privileged information or coordinated payouts, the entire case could shift from witness cooperation to criminal conspiracy. For now, prosecutors maintain silence, citing ongoing review. But one senior agent reportedly told a colleague, "The devices are talking." What that means, nobody outside the investigation knows. What we do know is that this isn't just about bets placed or games rigged. It's about influence, access, and the blurred lines between sports heroism and entertainment excess. The FBI didn't just take LeBron's phones. They took years of his private logs, the same years Damon Jones was selling him out. And now, behind closed doors, prosecutors are asking one question. Was LeBron the mastermind or just the fall guy?
But we begin with a story that has dominated the headlines. The FBI announced on Thursday that two major operations, one involving the sharing of insider information for betting on NBA games, and the other centering on rigged poker games using high-tech cheating devices, have led to the arrest of more than 30 suspects, some involved in organized crime.
LeBron James built an empire on control, but right now, the only thing he controls is his silence, and that's the most damning part. The federal case no longer looks like an inquiry into a rogue friend or an isolated wager. It's evolved into a map of money, influence, and loyalty drawn across two industries that rarely collide in daylight. The $2,500 Damon Jones pocketed for tipping off gamblers about Anthony Davis was trivial compared to the sums now surfacing in sealed exhibits. According to analysts who've reviewed those documents, millions moved through accounts tied to Jones's betting ring and directly into entertainment companies once associated with Sean Combs' convicted circle. Those aren't coincidences, they're coordinates. Investigators now believe Jones wasn't a casual gambler at all. He was a middleman, using friendship as cover to move privileged data for profit.
Did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA? But we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Cosa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families.
We've learned that the text messages involving LeBron's injuries weren't random chatter. They were timed exchanges inside a wider system designed to exploit team information before it became public. In plain language, Jones wasn't guessing when LeBron would sit out. He already knew. That pattern is why the FBI's digital evidence teams have spent weeks reconstructing message chains, bank transfers, and even deleted group chats between the athletes and Combs' former associates. Every timestamp matters. Each message could connect the betting ring to larger financial operations now flagged as part of a federal racketeering inquiry. And just as those findings circulate through legal networks, the entertainment world is confronting its own uncomfortable mirror. Resurfaced videos of LeBron smiling beside Combs on Instagram Live, saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party," aren't harmless nostalgia anymore. They're being reviewed by prosecutors as potential context, establishing proximity between two men now linked in overlapping investigations. Guest lists from Combs' private gatherings are under scrutiny, and insiders say LeBron's name appears on at least one roster alongside other high-profile figures now sprinting to distance themselves. Some of those names have already instructed their publicists to purge photos and social posts that tie them to those events. Legal analysts say the real turning point came when the Department of Justice quietly attached the RICO statute to Operation Nothing But Bet. That's the same tool once used against organized crime families, and its presence signals a coordinated structure, not scattered wrongdoing. Under RICO, the government doesn't need a confession. It needs a pattern. And patterns are exactly what LeBron's seized devices could reveal. The most striking timeline coincidence? The FBI took those devices the same week Combs was sentenced to 4 years in federal custody. Prosecutors called it a routine follow-up, but insiders insist it was tactical. They wanted to capture every data overlap while Combs' network was still fresh in court records.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
Behind closed doors, the pressure is mounting on Damon Jones. Sources close to the defense say he's being courted to cooperate in exchange for leniency. The offer is simple. Tell investigators what LeBron knew and when he knew it. That carrot-and-stick approach is standard in federal cases built on communication trails. If Jones flips, the narrative could shift overnight, from a star betrayed by a friend to a superstar allegedly coordinating privileged information for mutual gain. Whether that's true remains unproven, but prosecutors clearly think Jones holds the key. His attorney's repeated no-comment responses only deepen the intrigue. Meanwhile, inside the NBA, quiet panic has become policy. League executives have launched internal audits on data security, sponsor relations, and player access. 2 players were placed on indefinite leave this week pending review, though their names haven't been released publicly. Sponsorship departments are scrubbing campaign schedules and freezing all LeBron-related media until federal clarity arrives. According to one marketing executive, the brand can't afford to be even a backdrop in this storm. For a league built on image and integrity, the risk isn't just one player's downfall. It's the perception that confidential locker room information can be sold, traded, or manipulated by people inside the circle.
In a second, this announcement comes just as the NBA season was starting, and not only involves a current coach of the Portland Trail Blazers who's accused of being part of a rigged poker game involving mobsters in New York, but in a separate indictment, a former unofficial Lakers assistant coach accused of leaking injury reports to gamblers so they could bet big against the Lakers.
What truly terrifies the NBA isn't the betting scandal itself. It's what else could be sitting inside those encrypted phones. Investigators aren't only chasing gambling evidence anymore. They're combing through event invites, charity accounts, and correspondence with music industry insiders who once handled Combs' luxury parties. If even one of those threads reveals financial entanglement or illicit coordination, the fallout could ripple across both sports and entertainment. As one federal analyst put it, the overlap between fame and finance is where the truth hides. For now, LeBron remains silent. His social channels have gone dark except for old promotional posts, and his team refuses to engage reporters. We can see the shift from confidence to containment, the tone of someone waiting for clearance, not control. Friends describe him as focused, even stoic, but insiders say the calm masks legal strategy. Every word must be approved, every appearance measured. The man who once dictated every narrative about his career now watches strangers shape one about his life.
We do have more breaking news this morning. 2 big names in the NBA among more than 30 people arrested in connection with federal investigation into sports betting and illegal gambling.
It's a stunning fall from untouchable status. For 2 decades, LeBron James was more than an athlete. He was an institution, a symbol of discipline, philanthropy, and calculated power. But behind that perfection, cracks have started to show, and each day brings a new line in the federal files. Those documents might hold mundane details, expense reports, calendar entries, harmless messages, or they might reveal the structure of a network that blurred the border between business and betrayal. LeBron James has spent 20 years crafting his image, the untouchable king of basketball. But right now, in a federal evidence locker, there's a phone that could rewrite his entire story. The question isn't if he's guilty, it's how far the FBI will go to prove it, and who else they'll take down with him. What do you think is really hidden on those devices? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this saga is only getting darker. Until next time, stay curious, stay watching, and remember, every empire falls the moment its secrets stop being secret.